Oh man, this is TX2K crunch time. So yesterday we started putting like a few things on the car. We didn't get too crazy. I just got back from Georgia, I told you guys. So we just kind of mounted the wheels, mounted like the intercooler, the radiator, and just like the headlights, just small piddly stuff. Well, went to look at the turbo, and the center section, the mount is different. So we have a Maven mount on there. We always use the Maven mounts. I have them on the website. They're awesome to use. But this Maven mount doesn't fit the new turbo, and they were supposed to fit both, but we found out it actually takes a different mount. So we're pretty much gonna wait on the turbo. So essentially, I have a 94mm and a 98mm now, both from Jose. That's all I'll ever use is Jose turbos. Sell them on the website. There's like literally some of the best turbos, if not the best turbos. Any of the class cars, he's got a lot of the records and a lot of championships like X275, LDR, Pro 275. A lot of the turbo cars use Jose turbos. Anyways, so essentially what we decided today when we mocked it up was we're gonna wait till the last minute, and if we can upgrade the turbo, we're gonna upgrade it. It's not a huge deal. The 94 is still gonna make a decent amount of power because I only ran an 88 before, and the 88 I had before was just like an off-the-shelf regular Borg Warner turbo, nothing crazy, nothing special. These are, you know, Jose spec units. They're his casting, his new billet wheels. So even his 94 is gonna be a huge difference compared to what I had before, but trying to take the car to the next level, I know I needed a 98, so I ended up getting with his 98, but we had already made the turbo kit way before that. But we thought, after speaking to some people, that it would actually bolt right up, but the center section is different because I believe he changed center sections from the time that 94 was built and that 98 was built. No big deal. So essentially, if it comes down to it and we have like a couple extra days, which we're not going to, but if it comes down to it, we have a couple extra days, or even an extra night, we can get it done, we're pretty sure. We'll cut the flange off. We already have the Maven mount. Luckily, Joe had an extra mount that actually fits the new turbo. So we're gonna actually put the new Maven mount on. So we already have it. It's not like we even need to order it or get it. We already have it. So we just literally have to cut that mount off, weld the new one on, and everything should be good to go. But it's still time that is wasted doing that versus something else. So currently, the engine doesn't show that it'll be here till Thursday. Most likely, it'll just be here Friday. So what we're trying to do today, and I'll show you guys what we did at lunchtime today, is we're trying to get the fuel system built. So this year, prior to this year, all I ran was like a stock style hat, like your normal triple pump setup in a fuel cell, but it was still like stock style hat, triple pump. So this year, decided to go to Aeromotive 10 gallon per minute, which I also sell on the website. I sell 5, 7, and 10s. So went to Aeromotive 10 gallon per minute. That'll be plenty of pump unless we end up going methanol. A lot of people commented and asked why I didn't go methanol on like my Instagram and my last YouTube video. The reason why is a lot of streetcar classes are now starting to kick out methanol, which is no big deal, whatever. I mean, people cruise on methanol all the time. It's just, I don't know, they're changing that rule to kick a few people out, it seems like, but people will just adjust to the rule and run like C16 or E85. But anyways, so that's why I didn't do a mechanical system and run methanol. So we're doing the Aeromotive 10 gallon per minute, which will be plenty of pump. So this pump is massive. So we have the fuel cell, the new one from PNR, it's sumped. So we gotta mount the pump under that. And then there's two massive filters from Aeromotive that are supposed to go pre-pump and post-pump before they gets up to the rails and injectors. And so trying to like mount all that is freaking insane, trying to get it all to work together. But earlier at lunch, I was gonna film, but I realized I didn't have the camera. But we got the pump mounted, we got one of the filters mounted. We actually have to make a little bracket for it, but it's kind of just like zip tied up and out of the way for now. But the pump itself, we actually welded a bracket to the rear, and it's actually sturdy, it's good to go, it's bolted in. We made the line, or I made the line from the sump to the actual pump, or to the filter, and then I made the line from the filter to the pump, and then we should have to make the other line to the other filter, and then the rest of the stuff going up. But it's pretty easy. So we made that. So the next thing we need to do is finish making the fuel system, mount the filters, run dash 12 all the way up, and then we actually have to install dump valves. So when I used to have a Turbo 400, now I got the Hughes Glide, which I also sell on the website. But I got the Hughes Glide this time around, and I didn't do dump valves originally because I thought I wouldn't need them. And then I went to the 94 when I had the 88, and then I went to the 94 and I was like, man, I'm probably gonna need a dump valve, but I want to see if we can get away without it because they're on national back order at the time. So I was like, whatever, we'll just get the Glide without them. So I ordered the Glide without them, and then when I got the 94 and we had the car running for a little bit before we switched to Holly, we got on two-step a couple times, and I was like, man, we're probably gonna need dump valves. Like, we could do some tuning and some things and probably make it work, but it'd just be easier just to get dump valves, and that way if I go to a bigger turbo, I'll have dump valves. So I ended up getting the dump valves, and my transmission wasn't meant for them. So probably in this video or the next video, you're gonna see myself and Joe take the transmission apart, because there's a few things we have to do, I believe, to the valve body to make the internal dump valve work, and then the external one's easy. It just goes like in one of the cooler lines. It's not a big deal. So I'm gonna show you guys the fuel stuff. When we get to Joe's, I'm gonna show you guys the fuel stuff that we did earlier, and then I may take you through the transmission if that's what we get into tonight. Anyways, taking a break from transmissions, show you guys how we mounted the pump. Like I said, we haven't mounted the filters yet, but oh boy, let's flip her around here.
Well, I got a letter H drill bit.
Oh, I need letter F, buddy.
I got a letter H. That's the best I can do.
We welded a bracket to our shock bar mount, or actually, that's our anti-roll bar mount. And oh my gosh, it's dark. Oh, there it is. Did some Earl's Ultra Pro, because Joe's rich like that. And then the filter, and yeah, feed line. So that's what we did earlier. It's really hard to see, but you get the gist of it. Oh boy. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is, what is today? Jesus, I don't even know. What is today? March 4th. We're supposed to leave for TX2K in literally 12 days. I just got a call from the transport company that the engine is here. He's literally meeting me at the shop right now. So I left work to go get the engine real quick, but I gotta go back to work because I got a bunch of stuff I gotta get done first before we mess with the engine. But I don't know what happened. The friggin' engine got stuck in Arizona somehow, and the next transport company took 3 days to pick it up. So, I mean, it is what it is. We're 12 days out. So I think the biggest thing is, like, and I've said this 1,000 times, not to like brag or anything, but the way that Joe and I built this car was to make it easy to get the engine and trans out, in case you gotta do something at the track, or, you know, trying to do quick turnaround, whatever. But even on like a regular Mustang, we can usually get the engine out within a couple hours. And that only takes longer because you got to move all the harnesses, blah, 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 get a bunch of stuff out of the way. But with my car, there's obviously not much to it. And so we can get the engine and trans pretty easy. So I know we're going to get the engine here in the next like 15 minutes. But I got to go back to work, like I said. So this afternoon, we'll go to Joe's. We'll pretty much prep the engine. We'll get like all the small accessory stuff on that's easier to get on while the engine's out of the car. We'll get that on, and then we'll drop the engine in the car. That's easy. That'll literally take like 20-30 minutes. That's not the hard part. And there's really no hard part. The biggest thing that Joe and I are worried about right now is like the unforeseen issues that are going to arise, because we've never had the car running on the Holley system. We have to change a couple sensors because we tried to make the Gen 3 heads work before. We couldn't get them to work. So obviously it's all Gen 2 stuff, which is actually, you know, Holley supports Gen 2 heads, but, you know, it's still a brand new wiring harness. Not that Joe doesn't know what he's doing. Like, I'm sure all the inputs and outputs are working. It's more of like, you know, getting the car to idle and tuning the car, and, you know, everything on the car is brand new, but it still hasn't been tested. And you can buy brand new shit all the time, and sometimes it doesn't work. That's just part of building a car and part of buying parts that are machined a million times a year. So, yeah, it's the unforeseen issues that are going to arise that we're worried about. So, it is what it is. We're going to do what we can. We're going to get the engine in. We're going to get the trans in today. Joe, I think, I didn't film too much. I kind of did a little time lapse, but Joe pretty much installed the dump valves on the Hughes Power Glide. So we were just waiting on a new valve body gasket. I mean, it's a brand new transmission, but, you know, we pulled apart the valve body to drill it and tap it for the internal dump valve. So just going to go ahead and replace the gasket. Might as well do it now, since it's apart. So we're just waiting on that gasket. That gasket's supposed to be here today. Huge thanks to Steve over at Hughes. He actually overnighted it for me, so we should have that today. So we can put the converter in, put the trans in, get all that stuff bolted up, and then the new turbo, like I think I said in a previous video, doesn't fit with the turbo mount that we have. So we're pretty much gonna go along. We're gonna put the car together, engine, trans, turbo kit, all that stuff, try and get the car running. If that all goes as planned, which nothing ever does, but if that all goes as planned, then we'll see if we have enough time to cut the old mount off and mount the new turbo. I mean, like I said, the 94mm is going to make a lot of power. I really need the 98 to make the power to go the times that we want to go. But honestly, if it comes down to making the car run and drive and being able to test, probably just stick with the 94. And we'll upgrade, you know, later. I already have the turbo. It's not a big deal. I don't have to wait for it to get here. We already have the mount, so we can literally do it in a weekend probably. The thing is, though, we want to get the car running and driving and possibly go test it somewhere, or at least make some street pulls to make sure everything works. So we're gonna go get the engine, and I will release the information on the engine if you guys never saw the Instagram post that RPG made.
Again, Dave.
All right, attempt number 3. The RPG,
this is take 4, right?
Yeah, take 4. RPG engine is here at Joe's, and we officially have 12 days.
12 days.
Till we leave.
Someone's here. I gotta go.
Oh, all right. Well, Joe's out. So here's the.
Know how it goes.
All right, buddy. Thanks for the help.
Yep.
All right. So this is RPG.
Bring back ice cream.
You got it, buddy. RPG's newest creation. So this is a 5.2 block. It is sleeved. It's not O-ring this time. It's actually top fuel hoops. So the rings are actually on the heads, and they actually seat down into the block. This does have copperhead gaskets, so definitely better sealing power with the copperhead gaskets on the top fuel hoops than like your normal O-ring. O-rings are still really, really strong. This is kind of like the next level of sealing. This is for like, you know, 45 to 50 pounds plus of boost. For a stock block. So stock block meaning the actual block itself is a stock casting, but like I said, you have to do a 5.2 block when you do this setup, because this does have like the stronger webbing in the block and stuff like that. So the other biggest difference between this, besides the top fuel hoops and the copper head gaskets, is we went to aluminum rods this year. So this has aluminum rods in the engine, and kind of like the old way, you know, back when people first started doing aluminum rods, you'd have to check them all the time for stretch. You still got to check these at the end of the season, but they're typically lasting a lot longer. They normally used to be changed out, but like Joe's ran aluminum rods before in his vet, and he got to keep them the second time he built his motor. So it's something you got to keep an eye on, but they definitely don't stretch like people think they do. So this is sleeved, top fuel hooped, copperhead gaskets, aluminum rod motor from RPG, Gen 2 heads ported by Frankenstein. Got the Frankenstein O-rings on there, so you don't have to use gaskets. But yeah, look at that. Woo. Comp cams locked by RPG, of course, and obviously billet timing guides, all that good stuff. But yeah, this thing is a monster. This is supposedly good for 2,500 horsepower plus. Pretty much the weakest link on this thing at the end of the day will be the block itself. Everything else has been reinforced to the max. So RPG is going to release pricing on this soon. You could shoot me an email, David@Coyote if you're actually interested. Not that you just want to know the price, but if you're actually interested, start working with Will soon on the pricing with this stuff. But this is essentially the baddest engine you can get without going to a billet block. So pretty excited about this. We've got a ton of work ahead of us. Joe got the dump valves. He's working on wiring them up, but that's actually installed, the internal one, and he got the pan drilled and everything. So we are ready to go on that. He got the fuel pump wired up, so I got the return line coming in. I just got to finish the rest of the feed line. But we got the, I think I showed in the other video, but we got the air motive stuff, the new 10 gallon per minute mounted up there. We got to still mount the filters, but we've got a ton of work ahead of us, so keep you guys updated. All right, guys, so pretty much what I've been doing is prepping the engine to get dropped in. So installed the valve covers, valve cover gaskets, got the manifolds on there, all the studs are on, the hardware's on, got the alternator on there, and then I kind of, you don't have to do this before, but I just put all my water pump fittings, all the heater crossover fittings. It's just, it was already out, so, but like I said, you can do that in the car, but I was just kind of putting little stuff on. Next thing I gotta do is put the engine mounts on. I'm waiting on the reluctor wheel. Marvin's grabbing that right now. So then we can put the reluctor wheel on, put the flex plate on, and then put the engine mounts on, and it's ready to drop in after this. Look how sick this thing looks with the valve covers on there. So Joe welded up the VCT, and then he also welded me some dash 12 bungs for the catch can. And then we got the manifolds on there. These are Cerakoted by Hamer in Lubbock. He does a super awesome job. These are powder coated by a local buddy, Daniel. He does a really good job. I usually use Hamer for everything, but he was kind of backed up, and since we're just powder coating, had him powder coat these. That came out really good. But like I said, we got all the little AN fittings that I use for the radiator and for the heater crossover. So, whew, she's looking good. Damn it.
So it could go in appropriately. I told him when he swings the cherry picker, the engine's gonna be facing backwards. So it's no big deal. So now he is. No, you can, but like, it's.
Look, it's fine. Breathe. Breathe. That's as far as you go. You gotta go.
Pipes in there. Oh my gosh, that engine bay looks so sick with the black valve covers. So Marvin and I are getting the trans. Joe just finished up all the dump valves, which if you haven't gone to his channel, go look. But Joe did the internal and external dump valves. So we're gonna see if we need to clearance anything, because that sensor sticks out pretty far. But Marvin and I are about to stab the transmission.